Hello everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome to we're doing a warm-up game actually today for Hero League. So it's not in Hero League, it's in Unranked Draft. And as you can see down the left-hand side in the thing, and in the party chat probably down the right-hand side as well, I am here with Clicktion today, which is pretty fun, pretty exciting. Haven't seen him for quite a while. People have been with the channel for a few months now, maybe 2 or 3 months. Well, no, I did all the placement games back for Season 1 with Clicktion, and we played some more ranked games after that, but we haven't done videos together kind of recently, so it's really nice to see him back. And I think I'll have a video with kind of him talking out soon, and also one with him, myself, and Roger out soon again. So I know people have been asking for those, and happy to bring them. He's having a bit of fun here in the Hero Select as well. I think the enemy team they actually pick Alarak. So I think I'm like, yeah, we got outdrafted. They picked away our Alarak. Now all 4 of us don't have a hero. This is a disaster. But yeah, this is Unranked Draft. Basically, I said, saw pictures. I lied, said, hello, how are you? Let's play some games. Do we want to play ranked? What do we want to do? And we both kind of said, hey, we haven't properly played in a few days here. So let's go in and play a practice game, play a warm-up game. Just try to get our hands in, try to get our eye in, because that is quite important. I suppose one of the big questions would be, how often or how long do you have to go without playing to need a warm-up game? How long do you need to do something like that? And I think, honestly, you probably want to do a warm-up game even if you haven't played in a day. Unless you're very confident. Realistically, your first game of the day probably isn't going to be your best game of the day. You'll probably settle into things a little bit more. I would say certainly after not playing for 2 days or so, you would definitely want to be thinking about doing a warm-up game before jumping into ranked. I mean, unless you're not super invested in ranked and you mostly play for fun, then it's fine. But if you're going to be somewhat try-hard, if you want to make YouTube videos about it, you probably want to do a warm-up game or so first. And then in terms of hero picks as well for the warm-up game, you can see I'm hovering a lot of heroes I've got a lot of experience on. I think this is pretty important as well for that warm-up game. Jump onto a hero that you're very comfortable with, very confident on. You're basically looking to, hey, if you're in your warm-up game, you play Zagara, I'm hovering right now, and then we go and we actually play Zagara in ranked. Well, what better way to warm up for playing a hero in ranked than to actually play them just before that? That's perfect. So that's kind of what you're looking to do as well, is to pick a hero that you realistically are quite likely to pick up when you actually go to play, which in turn should be a hero that you're very comfortable on, you're very confident on, and that you've got a lot of games on. So that's the sort of stuff that you're looking for right here. In terms of this draft as well, before we go any further, Murderban is pretty nice. They've got ETC locked in already. You can see we're kind of discussing it down in the bottom right as well, is that they picked up the first pick Alarak. We kind of countered with the Medivh, right? The Medivh shields protecting people from the Alarak combo. They also pick a Chromie into that. So they got these 2 high ability burst combos that Medivh can just block entirely. And on top of that, Medivh's level 16 talent reabsorption will make these, if they try to fire off their combo, and he does counter it, and it should be fairly easy for him to do so relatively consistently. That's relatively consistent, very large heals coming for us, so that's kind of happy. But yeah, as you see, I do lock in Vala, who's my most played hero actually in this particular case. She just happened to be the one of the heroes I was looking at that fitted best in our draft. And yeah, we'll see exactly how it goes. They actually pick up the Butcher, so rounding out their composition with quite an aggressive set of picks right there. Quite an aggressive set of picks. And yeah. Speaking of being aggressive is one of the things we're going to want to do. You can see we're also we're trolling a fair bit in the chat. We're just having some fun. And this is important. It's one of the nice things, actually, before I talk about aggression. This is one of the really nice things about playing a warm-up game, is that you're going in, you're saying, I'm coming here today, I want to play ranked today. That could be stressful, that could be pressure. I'm going to do a warm-up game before I jump into ranked. Well, guess what? You don't care about the warm-up game. It's just your warm-up game. It's an unranked draft. You're not here to play unranked draft. You don't care about winning unranked draft. You're here to play ranked and to win ranked. You could lose this game in 5 minutes, and you know what? That's fine. Who cares? You just play another warm-up game. We don't care. We're not here to win. So it takes a lot of pressure off. and you can have a lot of fun, and you can not really care about things too much. And yeah, it can be quite a nice thing, you know, if you are playing ranked a lot and you're try-harding and you're trying to climb. It is a pretty intense experience. So the warm-up game can be a really stress-free way to just ease yourself into it every day. You know, it would be a bad idea, I think, to do a warm-up game in ranked. Just say like, hey, I'll throw this ranked one away, because then when you lose that, like if you lose that ranked one, which is, you know, you're warming up, so it's more likely than otherwise, then you can be very stressed out, because then you go, okay, I'm warmed up now, I'm ready to play, but we're starting get a loss down, and then you kind of feel pressure on yourself to make up for that loss. Like, I need to win one now really badly to recoup the loss I got when I was warming up, and that's a very negative experience. Just going into unranked or something, great, fixes all of that, and then adds the extra benefit of really not caring at all about anything like that, and just being able to play whatever way you want. And yeah, I had a really funny experience one day where I was doing this exact thing. I was like, I want to warm up for ranked, I'm going to play unranked. And we had this dude in unranked who was just raging. He was absolutely furious, and he was going like, go to quick match if you're going to just play, stupid. Oh, like, what are you doing an unranked draft if you're doing this? I was just laughing. I was like, dude, I'm here in unranked because I don't want to play ranked. But he's in this really weird spot where he mostly plays unranked, and that becomes like his meaning. That becomes what he cares about. And then, you know, he freaks out about it and he gets wrecked. Speaking of getting wrecked, we get absolutely exploded right there. Absolutely exploded right there. I think it's really interesting, actually, what happened there. It ended up being a 5v4. The Medivh rotated away. It was something I noticed. I didn't notice, honestly, when I was playing this, but I did take a quick look through it before recording this video, so that I'd know the sort of important parts to talk about in terms of the gameplay, as well as talking about the sort of the theme of the video. But yeah, one of the things I really noticed was that the Medivh was kind of consistently rotating away and prioritizing solo laning, split pushing, and soaking. And that's very important, but it's really not what Medivh is good at, right? Medivh's Q, in order to use his Q effectively, he really needs to be hitting enemy heroes. So, you know, rotating away from the sort of the everyone in the mid lane at the start of the map, which usually happens, right? Leaving that to go up top, he's really not doing much. He's not going to push down any of the structures. He actually gets there a little bit slower than other heroes, I would say. And yeah, it didn't feel like there was any real need for him to rotate away early. He's not going to get too much out of it. The enemy team hasn't sent a hero up, so we're not actually falling behind in XP or anything. And he doesn't have the pushing power to really generate an advantage. He just happens to be there. And then because he wasn't there, I get just picked off by the burst combo. Would have been a lot different if the Medivh had actually been there with a shield, with a portal to get me out. Which was something I sort of noticed throughout this game. Also wasn't really paying attention right here. I was also like Snapchatting at the same time on my phone during this game, and chatting in the chat as well. We're just having some fun and some banter. So there were a couple of times where it's like, for instance, right there, like, whoa, shit, oh, flip, Alarak is right there. Okay, fair enough. I guess I better vault behind him so I don't get comboed. And it worked out okay, but it was kind of a wonky little throwdown, that's for sure. You can see my stutter stepping using just pure right clicks to ensure that I'm hitting the Uther right there. So that's sort of an advanced tactic. Normally with stutter stepping, you'll see I'll be using attack moves and stuff. But for when I really need to focus one particular hero, I use the right clicks. This was also really interesting. This is the exact same thing I'm talking about. It's that the Ched and the Medivh both rotated away. This one was actually really funny because, again, I thought, I kind of figured, I was a bit confused when this happened in the game, and I went, oh, maybe I did screw up. That's kind of bad. But when I watched it back, it's like the Alarak literally walks. He literally walks right past Chen and Medivh. They literally run right past him. He goes, hi guys, how are you? And then walks right past them, walks up to me, and then combos me and kills me. The Butcher dies with me as well. Once again, it was like one of those things where they're sort of rotating around, but the Medivh and the Chen are going together. Not really ideal. If the Chen goes away, maybe it's okay. But, I mean, the Chen and Medivh, they're not achieving anything more than the Chen on his own in the lane. Medivh should probably still be there. But Also, it was one of those things, right, where your expectation of what we're going to do differs from what you actually do. I thought we'd push down their fort, right? Not their fort. We wouldn't get the fort, but we'd push down the front wall and get a couple of towers, get some XP. That's what I expected to do. As you can see, like, the next spawn is obviously right beside that, so it'd be really nice to have their towers and their gate down. That's a bit more sort of map presence and control, and that'd be a nice bit of a nice chunk of XP for us as well. Teammates decided not to do that though. They all sort of backed off. So yeah, I thought we'd be pressing that advantage. Our teammates obviously decided that they wanted to go back to the solo lanes with Medivh, and yeah, it ended up pretty bad. You can see I'm able to go fairly aggressive against the enemy team right there, just running into them. I'm confident I can dodge the Chromie and the Alarak if I see them coming, so it's not too much of a problem. Kind of interesting here. Well, Alarak was dead, sorry. Kind of interesting here, though. The Chromie could have interrupted me, but she didn't. She got scared. They backed off. They gave it up. And that's fine with me. But yeah, for example, now these sappers, some of the sappers, that's one sapper at least. I mean, at least that one sapper, at the very least, was wasted. That we could have taken that tower down earlier. I think more than that, though, we could have taken down pretty much that whole wall, and we would have had the sappers on this fort. It would have been a much smoother experience. Anyway, I'm focusing down the tower, or the fort. It gets confusing, right? Because they're towers, they're forts. What's going on? I'm going to get stunned by him and then vault away. Unfortunately, the ETC was right there. I was vaulting towards the portals, wanted to try get them out. I did get picked off before that could happen, though. It was just, the enemy team played it well. And Clicktion trolling the team. I love it. I love it. I'm not sure if the Medivh is kind of having a bit of fun, or if he's being a bit sarcastic in a nasty way. I don't really know. Couldn't quite tell. But anyway, yeah, I just thought, like, there were a couple of really interesting plays there early in the game where I felt like, did I die? Because I was really out of position. I think the first one, a little bit out of position in that respect in their combo. I know there's like some unfortunate fog of war things with the Alarak. He kind of just snuck right up on me. But then more than that, see the Chromie damage just a lot, right? Vala, it's one of her weaknesses. Her main weakness, I would guess, is that her health pool is tiny. So one Chromie Q plus her Bronze Talent's basic attack, that level 4 talent, and I'm almost dead, right? But then, of course, one Malf Q and I'm back up to full health again, so it's not a problem. But a little bit clumsy for me, for sure. But yeah, at the time in the game, like, it didn't really bother me, right? I was kind of going, I guess I kind of messed that up, getting caught out of position. But when I watched it back, I was like, no, it's just teammate should have been there. I was very tempted at that point, by the way, to be like, lag, question mark in the chat. But I decided there's no need for that sort of negativity. I thought it, I had a chuckle, and then I said, that's enough. I don't need anything more than that. That's fine. ETC does get some nice damage down on me, but he puts himself out of position to do so. And that's ETC dead for this particular phase. I'm going to just soak up this big wave of XP and push it in while I'm here. Medivh is on the way back. Actually, probably should have been there a little bit earlier because Clicktion got picked off. I thought we'd have a slightly stronger control of this than we did. And in the end, I was able to come up and we do pick up one kill. Oh, the heal just barely comes in, so my basic attack doesn't finish him off, but he does die in the end. So pick up 2 kills. Enemy team does pick up 1 in return. And this is pretty interesting right here. The Medivh portal is down. I see Chen is going on them, so I just focus down the Chromie. I just turn around and say, alright, ETC, do what you will. Everyone, do what you want. You can attack me all you want. I'm going to kill the Chromie and take the portal out. And it did work. In the end, actually, I think I could have stayed where I was, or gone back through the portal and kept going aggressive. But I kind of just stuck with that sort of game plan. And it worked out fine in the end. Maybe could have played it a little bit more efficiently, staying more aggressive, but it's fine. And yeah, there we go. We are winning this game so far, 36-20, which is always nice. Oh, this is also kind of important, right, in terms of, to go back to the idea of like warming up and stuff like that. Vala is a very fast hero, so that's a good kind of hero to warm up with, because, you know, it gets you, and especially because I like her, because I'm comfortable with her. She's my most played hero, one of my favorite heroes. But what you could do is pick one of your favorite heroes that's kind of very fast, very intensive, and go with that. I did pick up Gloom right here. It's kind of interesting. I should have pinged that I was going in. in this particular case, but because I was picking my talent and just trying to decide, hey, do I want to pick up Gloom? I've never really used this, but it could be a good thing to practice as well. And I think Gloom would work very well against the enemy team. If you don't know what it is, by the way, it's you can see it's that activatable #1 ability now here, but it gives you the passive 20% reduced damage from abilities, and then you can activate it to spend your hatred to get 3% bonus ability damage reduction per hatred stack for I think like 3 or 4 seconds, probably 4 seconds. So yeah, you can spend 10 hatred to get an extra 30% ability damage reduction for 50% total. Pretty useful for surviving against the Chromie and the Alarak, so that's what I went for in this game. I thought that would help me survive some of the burst. But yeah, I didn't ping for my allies that I was coming, and they clearly did not notice at all that I was coming, that I was going to dive. In the end, I think we got 3 kills from my death, so it worked out just fine. But maybe it would have been a little bit smoother if I pinged it. Probably would have died anyway, but obviously a worthwhile trade regardless. And oh, this is also an interesting tactical move or strategic move around the map too, right? Is that I could have gone bottom to the altar, but I didn't need to. Alarak is dead, right? So at worst it's a 4v4. Alarak's also probably their main source of damage, or one of their main sources of damage. So you know, I'm also that for my team. Myself and Alarak are fulfilling a similar role. So at worst, our teammates are fighting what should be a pretty even 4v4. But on top of that, we also were taking out the middle tower and the bottom tower, and they also responding to the bottom. So realistically, the enemy had very little way to interrupt that, to engage with that. So I decide, hey, instead of going down to the bottom altar, where honestly my presence is kind of superfluous, we should get it quite handily anyway, and indeed we did. I'm going to go and I'm going to push top instead, get ourselves some extra XP, get ourselves a tower, and there you go, the enemy team take back their tower. There's another trade 1-for-1 in the middle, but I take out a tower on top of that. Could have maybe rotated down a little bit afterwards, but I thought my teammates should be fine with me split pushing. Val is pretty good at split pushing as well. I do arrive right now. Divine Shield actually comes out from the Uther. I missed my Q. But nice moves from the Medivh. And then we finish off the Butcher with our W, with our multi-shot. Just stepping to the north as well to ensure that we're not going to be hit by the Chromie stuff. And that's fine. Pretty good. Going to start pushing in now on their final tower. By the way, if we had managed to grab that last tower as well on top of that, that would have been a very nice kill for us. Because with all the towers you get free shots on core, and that would have really added up to a lot. You see right there, I did use my Gloom ability to just soak up the Chromie damage. I was feeling kind of lazy. I was like, I'm not going to dodge this wood. I'm warming up. I'm not that good. So I did just use Gloom to eat that. And it's kind of interesting as well to see just how much it does. Oh, there you go. We actually do get all the towers. And I'm just going to sit in the middle of the Chromie thing. Because we can. This, I think, is probably game, right? The enemy team are down heroes. All these free shots going in on their core. There's all these altars. We're going to get 7 shots if they don't take anything back. So, yeah, there you go. Chen is channeling. And that's the final shots. And GG, that was a pretty short, pretty easy game. Lag, says Rexar. Says Clicktion, finishing that one out. Which, yeah, it's interesting, that game, I think, for sure. But in terms of warming up, I think a lot of you'll see some other players, if you're a bit more serious, and you could do this if you want, they'll like hop into try mode and do some fancy things, and you know, they'll do it while they're doing a handstand and Kegel exercises at the same time. It's amazing what they do to warm up. I'm not really that hardcore, so I'm not really into that. What I try to do though is I'll just hop into a game and I'll just play a couple of games. That's my way of warming up. Sometimes I might stick like a podcast on or something in the background. In this case, I was kind of chatting to Clicktion in the game chat. We didn't have voice chat, unfortunately. But yeah, something like that. And that's how I like to warm up. I don't bother doing any of these try mode backflips and shenanigans. It's just a normal game. That's plenty to warm up, I think. That's plenty to warm up. And yeah, I was team feeder this time though. I did die a lot, but that's alright. That's alright. Again, like I said, it was kind of interesting moves. I don't think that a couple of those deaths were really my fault, actually, in hindsight. But I wasn't really bothered too much about that when I played. I just went, died a few times. Well, I'm pretty happy with how I played. Felt like my mechanics were fairly decent. And yeah, I'm pretty happy to continue on here. And yeah, there you go. Kind of warming up nicely. Pretty happy with that. So yeah, I don't think you need to do anything super fancy to warm up. I think just play heroes that you're probably going to play in rank, like actually play an unranked draft game, somewhat like you play a ranked game in terms of your picks and your play style. But push that a little bit further, be a bit more aggressive, kind of push the limits of your mechanics, trying to get your mind into it. Be playing, again, like I said, heroes that you enjoy. Heroes that are going to kind of loosen up your fingers, loosen up your brain a little bit as well, like Valis, like faster heroes that require a bit more thought or whatever. And yeah, then also enjoy the fact that it's a warm-up game, that you've got no stress on you, no pressure. So really don't be bothered, you know. Like, so what? Like, we won that game, but if I went in and just died constantly and was just, you know, walked away with 20 deaths or something, I don't really care, because it's a warm-up game, and that's the point. And yeah, you could just, like, if people are being nasty or something, just mute them. Who cares, right? Just mute them. It's just a warm-up game. Just have fun. And yeah, you're not in it to win it. You're just in it to get ready for winning. And yeah, there you go. I think that's sort of the main tips. If you guys have any tips, like, let me know as well down in the comments, and let everyone else know in the comments. If you like this video, give it a like. I had quite a bit of fun playing that game, actually. It was kind of mad. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys all next time. I will have some Hero League stuff up soon, by the way. As you can tell, I basically hadn't played the game because of, like, life stuff and things like that for the best part of a week. Or I should say I hadn't played Ranked in the best part of a week. So I really wasn't confident to jump back into Ranked. Wanted to play a couple of days, just getting my eye back in, getting back into a feel for the game before I did that. So I will be getting some ranked games out soon. At this stage, I might wait. I probably will wait, in fact, for the next patch. But when the next patch comes out, blam, we'll jump into the ranked stuff and have the Road to Grandmaster kind of restarted. We have some catch up to do, so I'll probably be trying to churn out quite a few of those ranked games. So do look forward to that. I've got a few fun games with friends. Really interesting ones coming out in the meantime, so look forward for those. I'll see you all then, guys. Bye bye.